up, Depth Chart? It's your boy, young broadcaster Jared Young, here on the set of the 2 Point Perspective with my co-host, Miles on the mic, Miles Sweeney. How you doing today, man?
Doing good.
Good, dude.
Yeah. I got to come in early today, so that's nice.
Yeah, I always appreciate that, too.
Not another late blunder like last time, but...
well, we didn't have the audio issues that we had last time.
Yeah. No third party today, so we didn't have to figure all that out, but it's been a good day. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, let's kick it off right away. Let's get into our roster shakeup. So, Mike McCarthy, man. Whoa. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was not expecting that one.
Yeah.
And I am not sure that Steelers fans are very happy about that.
I don't think so either. I mean,
we know a couple Steelers fans ourselves.
We do. Mm-hmm. And I really haven't even spoken to them about it. I haven't heard. I know that I would say the main consensus isn't too happy about it, but
I think it's a downgrade, right? It's a downgrade, I think, at the coaching position.
But I mean, Pittsburgh has the cachet of only having 3 coaches in like X amount of years,
right?
You know, all this success.
And Mike McCarthy has won a Super Bowl.
He has.
Right? He's a Super Bowl winning coach.
He's a good regular season coach.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you run into the same blunders that Mike Tomlin had of not being able to get over that hump when it comes to the first round, you know, and if you make it past then how long is that going to last? So
sorry, we're messing with Miles'
board
over here.
So, but did you see his presser where he got a little emotional? He was like, I'm a Pittsburgh guy, and he was like choking up. So, you know, I like Mike McCarthy. Like, I think if the Cardinals hired him, I wouldn't be mad. But,
well, that's good because it's an upgrade.
Yeah, and that's not hard to do.
It's a little bit different if you're a Cardinals fan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But, well, you got another offensive guy who's joining a new staff, so.
Yeah, man, Brian Dable is going to become the Titans' new offensive coordinator. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Robert Saleh brought him on staff. I think that's a great hire. Brian Dable was probably not getting another head coaching position, at least not this season. Yeah, at least not this season. And yeah, I think it's a good move overall. His first season with the Giants, they had a really positive first season, and they showed a lot of promise. I think he has a good offensive mind, but their defense just could never really put it together as a head coach. And so I think it's a good move. Robert Saleh is bringing in another guy who has some head coaching experience, and yeah.
I mean, the Giants tried to trade up for Cam Ward last year, so Brian Dable is going to be able to coach his guy over in Tennessee. So I think that's a great hire, and I'm not surprised that he followed Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm excited to see what they're able to do over there in Tennessee. I think the future's bright. Next on my list, we're gonna do a little bit NBA, and Giannis potentially on the move. Man, he's not happy with the Bucks. Feeling a little disgruntled. Miles, where do you think he could go? You know, I saw maybe Golden State would be a good fit. I saw that they could probably put together the most competitive package.
You know, Golden State wouldn't surprise me, especially now that Jimmy Butler's out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't surprise me. There's always been buzz about like Giannis and Curry playing together. There's always going to be the Laker fans who say he's coming to LA, as every star player does.
Oh God, I hope not.
No, me neither. I don't think they would do that. I would say, like Golden State would be the least surprising. Does he want to leave the Eastern Conference? Like, how picky is he going to be about that?
I know you don't want him.
I don't want him in the West.
The Eastern Conference.
No, not at all. Like, if he's going to, I almost said the Jazz. He would never go to the Jazz. But just like somebody in the West and help make them more competitive or be that final piece.
Yeah.
That'd be tough for your boy, because he rubbed some salt in the wound of every Phoenix fan by beating him in that final. So, but I really like Giannis. He needs to get out of there.
Yeah, I agree.
That ran stale quick. So, and you can see how dejected he is.
Right.
He doesn't enjoy it anymore. He's not, he's getting hurt. He's just not having fun, and he is still, I would say he's still in the peak of his prime.
Right.
So
I would agree with you.
Get a fresh start. I think he needs to do that for sure.
I kind of appreciate our basketball dynamic a little bit, Miles, because you're West, I'm East.
Yeah,
it's very different from our football dynamic where we're
next door neighbors.
Yeah, next door neighbors, exactly. Right there in the division. But you got a few guys on your list. Who you got this week, Miles?
Yeah, going back to the NFL, this coaching cycle is kind of coming to a wrap. Joe Brady gets hired by Buffalo. He was their offensive coordinator. I know that he was taking interviews elsewhere, especially after Sean McDermott got fired. The way the Bills have handled this has been strange. From firing McDermott, all the drama surrounding the roster and like how it's coaching, but no, it's front office and trying to clear the air there. And then they're interviewing Phillip Rivers, like they're just throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck. And I think they kind of realized, like, okay,
Oh, Phillip Rivers.
I'm surprised that they didn't last a little longer to see if they could get Clint Kubiak, but I think they just kind of wanted to strike while the iron was hot, just bring in Joe Brady. I'm sure Josh Allen advocated for him because he was sitting in on those meetings. His voice was being heard. So just hire Joe Brady, let him get his staff together, and just hit the ground running, because I think the coaching search post McDermott was a little shaky.
A little bit of a circus.
Yeah.
Once you start hearing Phillip Rivers' name be thrown around after he just played, for the Colts, that's an interesting.
He's got coaching experience. Coaching is what I'd assume his son's high school football team. So yeah, he's ready to jump from college to the NFL. He can skip the ladder. Quick shout out to Marla, defending her number one viewer, number one supporter badge, sending more roses. Thank you, Marla. Shout out Seth in the chat. Next up, we got Todd Monken going to Cleveland, the most desirable job on the market.
Yeah, they couldn't even get people through the door over there. They said they couldn't even get people on a plane.
I mean, and Mike McDaniel was dropping out. Like, they had guys dropping out of those interviews, just saying, like,
I don't blame him.
No, me neither.
I don't blame him.
Me neither.
First of all, who wants to go to Cleveland in the first place, right? Who wants to take on that train wreck of an organization? I think that people are past the point of being like, I can fix them. Right. It's not. This isn't a toxic boyfriend situation anymore, where it's I can fix him. That's not the case here.
Yeah, you got to cut your losses.
Right.
It's like, you can't, if Cleveland's just going through all these partners and you're kind of like, well, what am I, what's going to stop me from being on the chopping block there too? So
right, Cleveland's Tinder matches are accidental at this point.
Similar to me, when I
accidentally swiped right.
When I had a Tinder, I ran out of potential matches in my area at one point. So Cleveland, I know how you feel, but they bring in Todd Monken, and Jim Schwartz was seemingly like the favorite to get that job. He was going to be promoted from within.
Right.
And the defensive guy.
Right, exactly. The defense has been a strength for them.
Yes. Yeah, they have a lot of money invested in that side of the ball. And I've heard some shake about Myles Garrett not being happy about that. Because you're bringing in a guy post Kevin Stefanski who is coaching the same side of the ball. I can't say this for sure, but Myles Garrett, I assume, would have been advocating for Jim Schwartz. He just got that contract extension. He's the most important player to your franchise. How much were you going to cater to him?
Probably defensive player of the year.
He should be.
Right.
And so, I think that's just a weird hire. That could be a one and done. It would be Cleveland-esque to do that, but it's going to be interesting to see, especially with the quarterback room, what he's going to do. Is he a fan of Shador? Is he going to trot out, Deshaun Watson
or Dylan Gabriel?
Dylan Gabriel, like, my God. So yeah, we're gonna see how he adjusts and does that puzzle. But another quarterback who's and this has been a thing for a while. This isn't breaking news, but Matt Ryan joins the Falcons as the president of football operations. And I think that's a good voice to have in your front office, because you get a guy who knows the organization. He was a good player for them, and taking him to the playoffs rookie year, took him to the Super Bowl, should have won it. So I think having a guy who has been around the league for a long time to be able to pull some strings within the organization, especially the one that he played for, is really important. And this isn't like Tom Brady with the Raiders, this is Matt Ryan's home.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how much influence he's going to have, how much did he court Kevin Stefanski, stuff like that. How much pull is he going to have on draft night, all that stuff. So,
and I love seeing former players like that get into almost administrative positions. You know what I mean? They know what it takes to win and be successful. So I like to see stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. But Bill Belichick didn't like to see what happened this past couple of days regarding his Hall of Fame nomination. It's the weekly wild card. Some say he got cheated, but he's also a cheater. How much did that play into him not getting into the Hall of Fame, first ballot? Seemingly a lot. Maybe
a little bit more than it should have.
I would say so. He deserves to be first ballot, but it's clear that the people who run this campaign, whatever the best word is for it, are punishing him for it. They're going to make him wait a year. And we got his stats pulled up, but I mean, like, before we even get into that, I think this is a flawed system, I would say, because if these guys are reporters and, I can't even remember his name, former, like, Bills GM who had to play this guy twice a year, if you're letting vendetta getting in front of your nomination, I understand that he cheated multiple times, but
allegedly,
but he's still an 8-time Super Bowl champion.
Right. Well, and I can't get over the fact that, like, if not Bill Belichick, then who?
Right.
If not this guy, then who does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? That just does not track for me, and we do have some stats here, but you need 40 votes out of 50, which I think is a little high, but at the same time, at this point, like, that for me would be a unanimous decision.
It should be.
I think it will don't understand that at all. And
next time it comes around, I think it will be unanimous.
This committee made up of, like you said, former GMs and reporters and different things, and it's so flawed. And yes, they have bylaws to prevent things like this from happening, but obviously they're not stopping anything, right? Because look at what happened.
Right.
And that, for me, I think that's kind of embarrassing for the committee. I think it's embarrassing for the league, and they should be, frankly, they should be ashamed of themselves. Bill Belichick, he's, like you said, he's an 8-time Super Bowl champion, 6 times as a head coach. He finished his career with 333 wins and 178 losses. I mean, that right there is a glaring statistic in and of itself.
Yeah, is that good?
And there's also this thought of maybe it was his consistently clashing with the media. His press conferences were always kind of up in the air. Like, what was he going to say? Is he going to say anything?
Right.
And the media doesn't like that, right? There's not a lot to be taken away from those kind of press.
But that's
press
the bias that can't get in the way of your decision.
Right.
And like you said, you have the bylaws about that. And I mean, I'll say right now, I don't like Bill Belichick. I hate that he cheated twice.
I hated Bill Belichick for a long time.
Yeah. And he is one of, if not the greatest head coach of all time. You can't dispute that.
Right. He appeared in 13 conference championship
13
games.
of them. His resume speaks for itself.
And won 9 of them.
And I don't blame the committee for weighing the cheating. That has to be, because that's not outside, like, that's not an outside perspective as like
And
how he treats them in the media. It's
I
like
understand that, but if you're going to take one season,
2,
allegedly,
yeah, that's
you're gonna,
2 years in a long career. So
yeah, in what was it, a 24-year career? Is that what the statistic was? And you're going to weigh that though against 13 conference championships plus 8 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He deserves it.
Yeah,
that's
unacceptable.
And I think it's clear they made this to punish him and to make an example out of him. But like you said, it should have been unanimous. I think it's going to the next time this comes around.
I can't imagine that it won't be.
It can't be.
Especially after the heat that they're getting right now for this.
Then it'll be really embarrassing.
Right.
So
and again, I'm not a person who liked Bill Belichick. I hated Bill Belichick for a really long time, but there's just no denying that he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No doubt. But I mean, Spygate and Deflategate played a big part in that.
Allegedly,
you're getting fined 7 figures. And if you're a repeat offender too, that makes it worse. Allegedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But he got the short end of the stick. I think that's just like the best way to wrap it all up. But Kyle Van Noy is trying to give the short end of the stick to the officials, and this is something we support.
Yeah, I think this would be awesome.
This
would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious, but also it would add another layer of accountability to these officials,
right?
When the officiating has been terrible,
and not just by them having to explain themselves, right? But putting their faces a little bit more in front of the camera, people are going to start to know who they are, and that adds its own layer of accountability to things. And so Kyle Van Noy came out recently. I believe he was on the Pat McAfee show. And he said that he thinks that, I have the actual quote here and I'm going to read it, but he thinks that officials should have to get up on the podium and answer questions about the calls that were made during the show. I think this is a great idea. I think it would be really funny for the NFL. I know that they put a lot of work into trying to protect their officials, and the officials hide behind that a lot, right? They get to hide behind that. And frankly, it's just not really acceptable. I'm sorry, but
they have ways, like they have the grading system for all the officials, so only the ones who grade in a certain echelon can keep moving on into the playoffs. The best ones are gonna ref the Super Bowl, So they allegedly, but they have a system in place to hold them accountable. But it is so bad, and it's not getting any better with their performance. This would add another layer of accountability, and this is something we talked about yesterday. And this is something I see floated around all the time regarding like the officials, is that they should get fined for every missed bad whatever call, and have some sort of financial accountability. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, and I understand to some degree. Here's the thing, though. You're fining players for having a negative impact on the game. Right? You're fining coaches for having a negative impact on the game, right? Just through their behavior. And I understand that.
Yeah.
So I also understand if a referee makes an egregious call, to some degree, if it's getting really, really obvious that something is up here, I don't disagree with that. But I also understand at the same time, these referees are not making millions of dollars.
No, they're not.
They're not on the same level as these players.
A lot of these guys have another job,
right?
And there's a human error aspect of this, and you bring up a good point with players getting fined for ridiculous things. Coaches, you can't even write on your whatever they call this.
Tyreek Hill got fined for throwing up a peace sign as he's running into the end zone.
Yes.
Really? Is that what we're doing? But you're going to let officials let 5 holding calls go or a face mask go uncalled.
You can't even wear cleats like in a different color unless it's league approved,
right?
Or you're gonna get fined.
There's some pretty ridiculous things, and I understand the argument. I also understand your perspective on that. But I want to read this quote. So from Kyle Van Noy, he said, "One thing I think they should do is that the refs should do press conferences after games, just like coaches and players. They should have to go on the podium as a unit. You have one spokesperson, but whoever makes the call has to walk their ass up and explain what they see and how all that. I think that would be awesome."
I think so too.
Yeah, I also think that would be awesome. I would watch more post game. I would watch way more post game if the referees had to give an explanation.
Well, because you think about it, the most recognizable referees, guys like John Hussey or these other guys, are the ones who announce the penalty.
Right.
They get in front of the camera and they talk in front of the entire stadium. You don't know what's going through the heads of these line judges and these back judges because you never see them. You see them when they're all conversating. So to be able to get insight into what those conversations are from the ones who threw the flag and giving the analysis to the guy who is the only one who you would even know their name, hear their voice, see their face. So if you plop them up there and they have to explain themselves, this is an accountability level I think is necessary. And I think it's a hell of a lot more realistic than fining them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Casey Hargrove said that we should team up with Hey Dudes, yeah, and do a collab with them.
We need a sponsor.
That would be pretty sweet.
I got mine on right now. You guys can see them.
I'd wear some 2-point perspective.
That would be
Hey
sick.
Dudes, yeah.
And get some orange and blacks. And get our logo on there. Yeah, let's
pair them with the jerseys and the hats. Man.
We're gonna let's reach out to them.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. I get a lot of shit for wearing these though.
Yeah.
Not everyone is a favorite of the Hey
I'm not
Dudes,
sure it's the shoes, Miles.
They just don't like me. That wouldn't surprise me.
It's okay, Miles. I like you.
Oh, thank you. Maybe a little too much. Yeah, but we got some segments to go to. Let's not get all gushy and warm in here. So. I didn't mean to steal that one from you.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah, dual threat bet. Well, this week it's kind of interesting because we don't have any money lines for the Pro Bowl because the Pro Bowl kind of sucks. So
yeah,
and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But what we are going to do, well, first let's talk about last week. So the bet, I think it was my bet, and I pulled Matthew Stafford 35.5 pass attempts.
Over.
Oh yeah, plus 35.5 pass attempts. He got 35. So I missed it. I missed it by one pass attempt. The Rams had the ball late in the game, and I thought that he was going to get it, and instead they let the freaking clock run down, which was pretty disappointing for me. Honestly, I really didn't care who won. I think it's going to be an NFC West Super Bowl champion. So yeah, a little bit disappointed on that. But for this week, we are go ahead. Sorry.
If Puka gets out of bounds, man, I mean,
I know, and he was right. He was right there. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was about 6 inches away from winning the dual threat bet this last week. So, but this week we got the Pro Bowl. So our bet this week is that we're going to flip a coin, and whoever wins picks the winner of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. And they have a lot of games that go into this. It's not just the flag football game. There's a point system. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not going to watch any of that. But
we'll talk about that. But
they tally it all up, and whoever has the most points between the two conferences will win the Pro Bowl. So let's get to flipping.
Yeah, so we got our PR Bacardi coin, and heads or tails, Miles?
Heads.
That was a terrible flip. I'm sorry. I'm going to redo that. It is tails.
All right. What say you, Jared?
I'm an NFC boy, Miles. I'm an NFC boy, so it's going to be the NFC for me.
100%.
Yep.
I think NFC just has more talent.
I think so too, man. Yeah, I think so too. And I think the quarterbacks are a little bit better.
I would agree. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Pro Bowl quarterbacks, we got a new segment for you guys. Yeah, man, segment this week. Brand new segment. It's called Lingering Beef.
Yes. This is a new one, like you said. I want to shout out Summer here. She said, you guys need to dance during the transitions. So I did a little groove.
You know, I was throwing it back all day at work today, so I'm just,
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
My back's hurting is all,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't do it for your birthday, so that kind of hurts my feelings. But
well, we didn't go to a club, though, really, right? We went to, what did we do? We went to karaoke?
Yeah. You could have thrown it down during karaoke.
Yeah, I get nervous, though. So I'm lucky that...
Why do you think I even got go up there?
Yeah, I'm lucky I even got the singing out,
Yeah.
If we had gone to the club and I had maybe had a little bit more confidence juice in me, then it probably would have thrown it back a little bit.
Yeah, and that would be a sight to see, man. But
I get down at the club.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I get down at the club.
I'm sure you do.
It's if you're not getting down with me, you're probably not enjoying it as much as I am. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I'm sorry to go on that tangent.
No, that was funny. Let's talk about this Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah.
So on our list here, we got Shedeur Sanders. So who was our AFC quarterback? It was Drake May.
Yes.
Made the Pro Bowl, and because the Patriots made the Super Bowl, Drake May dropped out.
Right.
Or opted out. And the only quarterback, I guess, that they could seem to find was Shedeur Sanders.
Obviously.
Which is, yeah, right. Yeah, the clear, obvious choice. Definitely not Trevor Lawrence, who
no
was a
that makes no sense to me.
Super Bowl contender.
Well, his resume speaks for itself. Let's read his gaudy stats here.
Yeah, let's talk about Shedeur. So Shedeur Sanders had more interceptions than touchdowns this season. He had 10 interceptions and 7 touchdowns. He was 41st out of 42 quarterbacks in passer rating. That's an 18.9 passer rating, by the way, which is horrific. His fantasy rank is 42nd, and he has the 5th worst QBR of any quarterback in 20 years.
And he's dead last in EPA per play.
Yep, dead last.
So naturally, he's making the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's what makes sense to me.
I wouldn't have it any other way. But that's just so weird, and it totally really took the media by storm because it makes no sense. And I was telling you about that meme yesterday with Tom Brady and choking up and saying my dad, and it was just circulating on Shedeur, how did you make the Pro Bowl with such bad stats? And my dad, it's well, if the shoe fits. So that is gross. That's gross. I don't understand it.
I don't even really have a lot more to say about that. I think you're right. It is gross. But you know what? I think that it speaks to the standards of the Pro Bowl at this point, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to get into next. So the Pro Bowl stands for nothing.
No.
Right at this point. It is useless. It does not count for anything. It's basically just a week of the players partying and
living in paradise.
Yeah, I guess some people watching, right?
Yeah.
But we have some stats on the viewership here. So the Pro Bowl has gotten increasingly more boring as the years have gone on, right? It's gotten worse. Players don't want to get hurt, which I understand, right? But they essentially almost just stopped tackling altogether during the Pro Bowl, and then got to a point where they're now just doing flag football. So, go ahead.
I will say, if you don't keep the contact aspect of it, if nobody's doing any contact, I think the flag football idea is good,
and
but
I
it's
also
still
understand
boring.
Player safety, right? wants to tear their Achilles in a game that doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts on this, but I want to give you guys just some stats on the viewership over the last like 25 years. So, lots of waste of money for really low views at this point. In 2000, the Pro Bowl was getting 13.2 million views. That's a pretty decent viewership, especially for that time, right?
It's 26 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
12 million views in 2010. And last year, they dropped all the way down to 5.2 million views. To put that in perspective for you, the League of Legends Championship, right? We're talking about esports here. The League of Legends Championship got 7 million views in 2024. So they're not even beating out the League of Legends stream. That's that's how bad the Pro Bowl is. And I'm not trying to shit on League of Legends. Like, if that's your thing, go for it. Like,
I play it.
I'm not trying to shit on that. But when you're talking about esports compared to professional sports and they're blowing you out of the water by 2 million views, that is not good.
No, it's not. And they've tried to, Seth, I do love League of Legends. They tried to do a facelift with the entire, because the NFL isn't stupid. They see the fan like disinterest when it comes to Pro Bowl weekend. It's not 2010 anymore where people are still like, it wasn't like you're playing it like an actual game, but it was still like you're gonna hit somebody,
right?
Well,
and you get to see great players do what they do, still,
right? Yeah.
And it still felt semi-competitive.
Yeah, and point. I mean, they always had the games before, and now they just turn it up to 11 with this new Pro Bowl system. I respect it. I won't watch it.
Yeah,
frankly, it's boring.
I won't be watching either.
I'll
be golfing on Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. I love Trey McBride. I love Budda Baker. I love when my Cardinals make the Pro Bowl. I'm not watching it because I just care that it's on their resume and I don't need to see it.
So here's a thought, Miles. Instead of the Pro Bowl, and I know a lot of people have said this. This is actually a really popular concept. Do a toilet bowl. Take the 2 worst teams in the NFL and make them play for the number 1 overall pick.
I like that idea.
Create a competitive game, and whoever wins gets the number 1 overall pick. That way, these teams don't just get to tank out the season.
Right. Yeah. You got to have some like wherewithal to, because tanking is horrible for any sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not involved in Raider media, but knowing that Fernando Mendoza is probably the only sure thing for this quarterback class, especially with Dante Moore dropping out, there's going to be an element of this is the guy we want, and we're going to make sure we get him without having to trade up to the number 1 overall pick. So,
and think of how interesting it would be to watch teams that are like on the brink of firing their head coach,
right?
And instead, and they're gonna keep that head coach because they want the number 1 overall pick, right?
Right.
And then think of that head coach who maybe they know they're about to get fired, even if they win this game.
Yeah.
I think that would create a really interesting dynamic and make that.
It would be fun. Mm-hmm. I don't think the NFL would ever do it, but it would be
which
fun.
Is unfortunate. But
yeah. But yeah, man, those are some damning stats about the Pro Bowl. You would have never guessed, but now we're gonna try to guess some other stats.
We forgot to dance.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Summer might not even still be in here, so she'll never know.
It's because we're not dancing. That's why.
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna go 1 and 1, same as usual. And Jared, you've had some themes to your guess that stats.
This one's gonna be pretty obvious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would assume mine is obvious. There's a chance we even did the same theme. But I'll kick us off.
Okay.
This player has the most Pro Bowl selections while never playing in a Super Bowl. And I have the year if you need it. And I could tell you how many times he made it too.
What year? Like what do you mean
Like
year?
his career.
Okay.
From like when he played. He played from 2007 to 2017. So he played 11 seasons.
Okay.
And 10 of those he made the Pro Bowl.
And he never played in a Super Bowl.
No.
Okay, so then it's not Matt Stafford. It's not Matt Ryan. And he made a lot of Pro Bowls.
Arguably one of the greatest at his position, people would say.
Quarterback.
No.
Oh, it's not a quarterback.
No, this player. It's not a quarterback. But you're on the right side of the ball.
Megatron?
Final answer?
Yeah.
It's Joe Thomas.
Oh,
left
okay.
tackle. You know,
right.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
And he was a great left tackle for Cleveland, one of the few bright spots in that time frame.
That makes a lot of sense. Offensive linemen get a lot of, if you're a good offensive lineman, you're probably going to go every year.
Yeah, 100%.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, great left tackle, and he played like an absurd amount of games and snaps in a row without getting hurt.
The Browns.
Yeah, Joe Thomas.
The one bright spot for them in a long history of failure.
Yeah, you think they miss him? Jeez, Shador would like to have him on his blind side.
Well, you know what, Miles? Let's stay on this topic. So this Browns quarterback was the first to win their starting debut since 1995. And I have a hint for you if you'd like.
I don't think I need it. Is it Baker Mayfield?
Do you want the hint?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna give this one to you.
Okay.
They're also the first to lose a game with 350 plus passing yards and 4 TDs.
Is it Shador?
I didn't say it wasn't Baker, by the way. I just asked if you wanted the hint.
I really feel like it was Baker. I'm trying to... Well, would they consider Shador's debut when he came out of halftime and he was starting? I don't... That because I know they didn't win that game.
No, a debut is your I think you're starting.
Like name the starter.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of quarterbacks there.
Yeah, a lot of starting quarterbacks for the Browns.
I'll stick with my guns. I'll say Baker Mayfield. Applause.
It was Shador.
It was Shador.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was getting mixed up because I didn't know what they were going to consider the debut.
Yeah.
Because like he
fair.
debuted.
Right. That's fair.
But when you read those stats, I was like, I feel like I know Shador did that.
I also messed with you a little bit.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I
about
didn't
that.
say it wasn't Baker. And I was like, well, it's got to be Baker. Yeah, that's a good one. So is this a Browns team? This is gonna be a good one.
I don't know. Is that the theme of this?
Okay. This position has never won.
Browns. Final answer.
Has never won a Pro Bowl MVP.
A Pro Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm. This position.
Can you tell me which side of the ball it is?
Offense.
Okay. It's never won a Pro Bowl MVP?
Yeah.
I know that a quarterback has to have won that.
I think
there's no way.
all the skill positions you got to take out of the equation.
Is it left tackle?
You got 5 options on that line. Is left tackle?
Left tackle is my final answer.
It's center.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to double check this.
See, I was trying to stay within the theme, but now I think I'm understanding your theme here.
And you could be right. I could see no offensive lineman ever winning that award.
Yeah,
but
I would
like
be
center
very,
was the
very
one
surprised.
that was highlighted. So
Which makes sense. Like when you're building your offensive lineman, you're probably starting. Your center.
I'll give you a brownie point for that because I didn't do my extensive research in offensive lineman.
No, that's
awards,
I mean, it could have been a left tackle.
Yeah,
right. They get a lot of hype these days.
Joe Thomas went there 10 times, so he could have done it.
All right, Miles. This quarterback has the most wins at Browns Stadium.
This quarterback has the most wins at Browns Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, see, I want to see Baker Mayfield again, but he wasn't there for that long. God.
And you got to think like all the years of
and they've had like 37
like
different quarterbacks.
Well, not only that, but like all the other teams that have played the Browns, right? You got the whole AFC North.
Yeah.
That or not AFC.
No, you're right.
Yeah, AFC North. Yeah, sorry about that.
In Brown Stadium.
In Brown Stadium, yeah.
I can't think of another notable guy. How long was... No. I'll go Baker Mayfield.
Really?
Final answer. Yeah.
Really? You got Ben Roethlisberger that played there for a long time.
Terry
Bradshaw. You got like all these other teams.
I was within the Browns quarterback perspective. So any quarterback.
Yeah. I didn't specifically say Browns.
Joe Flacco.
No, I'm fucking with you, Miles. It is Baker Mayfield.
Okay, I was. But Joe Flacco would have made sense. Like
it would, yeah.
Well,
that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, well, Joe Flacco not only played for the Browns, right? But then he also, but then
Ravens and
and then I was thinking Ben Roethlisberger, who is second on that list, by the way. So Baker Mayfield has 19 wins in Browns Stadium.
Wow.
Ben Roethlisberger has 12.
That is sad. That's the most wins. 19?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Baker was making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Well,
that's
and Baker
pathetic.
Also, has played for other teams and gone into the Browns Stadium and played there, right? So that also adds to his win total.
Right.
What do you got next? You got your last one?
Yes.
All right, what we got?
Besides Tom Brady, this player was the oldest NFL player to make the Pro Bowl. And I'll give you the year. Okay, I'll even give you his position, if you can, to help you maybe think of the name.
Okay.
This is 2008.
Okay.
He was a kicker, and he was 44 years old.
Adam Vinatieri. Final answer.
It was John Carney.
Oh.
Adam Vinatieri is a good answer, but
Dang.
I mean he was playing for a long time. I think he played post 2008.
Yeah.
So yeah, John Carney. I was like, that's a name I haven't seen or heard in a long time.
Your theme was Pro Bowl here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. After we shit on it.
I thought it was offensive line there for a second, but do you know what my theme is so far?
It sounds like it's the Browns, if I had to guess.
Okay, Miles. Well, this quarterback remains the only quarterback in Browns franchise history to throw for over 4,000 yards in a single season, and I can give you the year.
Yes.
1980.
Man, what was I doing in 1980? I'm
not sure you were even swimming.
No, I wasn't even I was just still nutrients.
Let me ask you something.
Point.
What were your parents doing in 1980?
My dad was 20, so he was probably working at Fry's. My mom was 15. God, I don't know what she was doing.
She was in high school.
She was in high school.
She was in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were not a thought.
No. They didn't even know each other. So only Browns quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. I don't know. See, this is one where I just literally have no answer. I just might have to. Is this a name I would know?
Probably not.
Yeah, I'll wave the white flag.
All right. It is Brian Sipe.
Oh, Brian Sipe. Yeah, of course. Who doesn't know him?
Yeah. I will tell you right now that I've never heard of Brian Sipe before I researched this and put this in here. So I'm going to give you the W.
That's a hell of an accolade to throw for 4,000 yards.
As a Browns quarterback? Yeah, absolutely.
That's insane. Gosh. Wait, so how many I'll give you 1 point for the. You got 1 point.
Okay.
I think I only got Baker, right?
Yeah,
I only got Baker.
Well, I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna give you 2 full points. And I'll give you a half point each for the first and the second one because I kind of sent you down the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
I was being malicious, and then I threw one out there that there's no chance of you ever getting.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have got it if you threw me that question. If you throw me that question next week, I won't know the answer to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you didn't overestimate my knowledge of the 80s. So, yeah. Well, we got our last segment coming up. We love calling you guys, and this man has been. Am I being premature here? Are we ready to move?
Okay. Send it, man. Yeah, send it.
Yeah, this man, you guys know him if you're a listener. His name is Ethan. He is going to be a 3rd-time caller, and if he's stuck around this entire time, a 24th time listener.
24th time. Yeah. All right.
49er fan.
24 time listener.
Yeah. Yeah.
During episode 24.
3rd-time caller.
Yeah.
That's once every 8 episodes, man. he likes to come back. So
it's Ethan, guys.
Yo, 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 2nd-time caller, long-time listener.
3rd-time caller.
Yeah.
Ethan, we were just talking about
man,
this before we rang you
like
up.
Me or something.
Yeah.
You know what? I just realized this is going to be really awkward for the live because the live can't hear you, which I think is pretty funny, actually.
If you're in the live, make sure you check out YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast if you want to hear Ethan's beautiful voice.
Absolutely. That's some incentive. That's just some incentive to go get us the views.
Yeah. You can hear him get a little choked up because we're going to talk about the 49ers, I assume. You guys can, hold each other here and comfort each other, and I'll feel a little bit better. But Ethan, did you have like a question you wanted to start off with, a little rant? The floor is yours, man.
Boys, if I may, I just want to congratulate. I have something to get into, but I just want to congratulate the Niners on an amazing season. I don't care what anybody says. We played our asses off. We had a good time, and it was surprising all the way up until the end, and we lost by 30-something points. Anyways, that's not what I want to talk about today, because I'm actually proud of them. What I want to talk about is the substation conspiracy is completely bonkers.
Yes.
I even have charts.
You've done your research?
I literally just in the last hour, yes.
Oh my
gosh. Send you the Google Drive.
Yeah, well, we also trust you to read it off because this conspiracy is really taken over because neither the Patriots or the Seahawks are practicing at that practice facility because of it.
However, real quick, just on that, that's not uncommon.
It's not.
During the last Super Bowl at Levi, they did the same thing where they practiced at San Jose and then they practiced at Stanford. So it's not uncommon for playoff teams or for Super Bowl teams to not practice at the home facility, and the reason why is because it could present an unfair advantage.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. But
just to clear that up.
No.
Really quick.
I know that they like never.
That was on the list, yes.
They never like. I mean, they could, but it's not that common. But like, you see it coming up because it's gaining traction now with that whole conspiracy. Right. So,
and it is actively being debunked. They're working through debunking it. However, before you get into it, Ethan, I just want to say
yes,
it does get a little bit sketchy though, because there's a lot of money being made from both that power station, and it would be very expensive to move both the power station or the practice facility. So they're, who's to say how that data is being manipulated? That's all I'm going to put out there.
Well, let me manipulate it for you guys.
Let's hear it, man.
We got to start where this all started, which was Substack by a guy named Peter Cohen. Now, Peter Cohen was not able to access the facilities, so his estimates could be wrong. He says that in his Substack.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got this random drop of a Substack saying Niners in his drop, he said we have real world case studies proving this. Can't prove anything off a case study. Science does not work like that. Case studies are the first study of like just general information.
And I don't mean to interrupt you.
General information,
but he's pulling his information as well from outside, like you said, from outside the practice facility, like outside the fence. He's not even he's not even on the facility, right? Yeah, he's not even in there. Second of all, I just want to make everybody this clear: Niners are not the number one injured team in the league. Do you want to know where that goes?
I think that honor goes to the boys in the desert, correct?
This
nope.
season. Oh,
the
no.
Colts.
Really?
That makes sense.
The Colts are the number one injured team in the league. Then it goes New York Giants.
Really?
Ravens. Well, let me zoom in on this because I put the pictures real small. Ravens, New Orleans, and then this is a last 10 years sort of thing. And then it's Seattle, San Francisco.
Oh, last 10 years. Okay. That makes
last
more
10
sense.
years.
Yeah.
Last 10 years. And the only time we've ever been number one in injury category was 2020 during COVID.
And you made the Super Bowl.
And we made the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that conspiracy is so fun.
I think it's kind of fun too, actually.
Because, and it's just like surface level, it makes sense. Like Niners have just been getting destroyed this season. And
I think also maybe it seems like that because it's big names that are getting injured, right?
Yeah.
So
they're
big names.
Key players that are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that I think, maybe that's just a coincidence.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys think do you think the traction, despite like all the studies, would it warrant a practice facility being moved? Or do you think it's going to be too much money, too much hassle for something that has data showing otherwise?
Well, let's hear your boy out. Let's hear what the rest of what Ethan has to say.
I've only got a few more things to say. So here's the thing. I think it's scarier than a substation than low frequency electrical waves causing cancer in your body. I think it's worse than that. I think it's the organization and the players we draft.
Interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
Because there is studies showing how the Niners players before and after they join and leave the team, like free agent players like that, their injury percentage doesn't go up or down before or after leaving the team or on the team. It's the same across their career. Players who stop in the San Fran for 3 to 4 years leave and have the same amount of percentage of getting injured.
Okay, so now it turns to strength, conditioning, and medical staff. Because if
we've replaced 3 medical staffs in the last 5 years and strength and conditioning coaches in the last 5 years.
That just sounds like shit luck. I mean, that's insane. Right? This is a lingering issue. And I mean, Shanahan's been there this is going to be his 9th season.
9th season.
How much is that going to fall on him? We don't really know. He's succeeding in spite of it. But somehow, but see this.
And
it's interesting.
One more graph, real quick. One more graph that I will send you the drive if you want to put any of these graphs in. The 3 years before Shanahan took over in the new stadium, it was around it. There's a 30-point increase between the 3 years before before Shanahan got in and the new stadium being built, and then the last 8 years has been a 30-point increase in injury. So a lot of it is pointing to Shanahan's way of coaching and how they do training and conditioning, even though they bring in new people.
Well, and I've thought about this as well, like especially at the running back position, right? For a lot of years, we've really struggled at the running back position, and guys are rotating in and out, and they're having success in the run game while they're on the field, but they're not on the field for very long. right? Or they're not able to stay with the team because of their injury issues. It's kind of a next man up mentality, and it's been that way specifically at the running back position for a really long time, right?
Yes.
And so that for me is something that has been glaring, and I've always wondered, Shanahan's got a very, this last season we didn't see it quite as much. I think a lot of that had to do with offensive line, but he's always been praised for his ability to run the ball, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of aggression, though, and the way that they're running the ball and the way that those plays are being schemed up are not friendly to the body of the individual who's carrying the rock.
He has the stigma. I mean, it's been a revolving door.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and CMC literally got bilateral tendonitis last year.
Yeah. Yep. This brings up something that I saw the other day about Dre Greenlaw talking about the differences of Sean Payton's coaching style and Kyle Shanahan's. Sean Payton is way more intense. You're going to be 6 days on, 1 day off. Like, you're practicing like your life depends on it. And then Shanahan's approach is just more like, we want to make sure you're as fresh as possible. So how much does that play into it? Dre Greenlaw isn't somebody who's unfamiliar with injury, but, and I don't know what his injury history was like this season. But, I mean, it plays a part in it. How are you approaching preseason, OTAs, training camp, and then going into the season? What are the practices looking like? How are these different approaches, magnifying the injury issue across the entire NFL? And I think I don't want to say it's subjective because there is a lot of luck that's involved, but I think there's variables there that you can look into. And it's just interesting that that's coming from a guy who literally just played with San Francisco and came off tearing his Achilles.
Yeah, he popped his Achilles.
And he had a good season for Denver this year. So
when he wasn't injured.
Right.
Oh man.
To me, it's one of those things where it's like, I think I love Shanahan and I'm gonna keep rocking with Shanahan. And if we keep winning like this, if we had George Kittle, if we had George Kittle, I think the Seahawks game goes very differently. I think it does.
Do you think we don't win that game though?
I don't think we win that, but
you don't win that game by giving up 41 points.
No, you don't. But I think if you have a good, because we had to set the run and we never got the run set. Right. And with George Kittle, that upgrades it to a different level. Like, Tonjes is great and all, but he's not George Kittle.
Well, and that's for two reasons, right? Kittle's not only going to set the edge, but he's also, that's just another body that you have to cover, and there's no option there, right? Because if you leave him uncovered, he's taking the ball down the field for 40 yards.
Yes. Yeah. Something else I'll say, your offensive game plan changes when you give up a special teams touchdown in the first 13 seconds. So, Ethan, I'm with you, man.
I was fuming.
I'm with you, man. It
was tough to watch. It's pretty defeating.
It's hard to watch your team.
My birthday.
That was on your birthday?
No.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, happy belated birthday as well.
But
thank you.
To get your ass kicked in the divisional round by your NFC West opponent, and this is something Jared and I talked about too. That is inexcusable. It's a tough blow.
Right.
But the fact that they were even there with the pieces that they had
is
more honorable, in my opinion.
It is commendable, but the result of the game is unacceptable.
And both things can be true.
If they had lost, I understand. And I've said this. If they had lost, okay, I get that. What is not acceptable is getting blown out and not even scoring a touchdown in that game.
Right.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah. And both things can be true at once. Yeah. So,
it's like the thing we're seeing. I think Philadelphia kind of set it in their Super Bowl win, where it's like, if you can get 4 to the quarterback, you're going to win the game. And we couldn't stop a four-man rush.
Not only that, but we also couldn't get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
We couldn't do that
our
either.
pass rush was not what it used to be. Right. We had injuries all over that offensive or that defensive line as well.
Yeah.
So,
Man, if we had Mikael Williams, even if we just had Mikael Williams,
right.
even if we lost that game the way we did, he would have gotten so much good experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing is like, I can deal with Kittle and Warner and Bosa getting hurt. They're old. I get it. Like they're going to get hurt. It's the Niners. But like a rookie who's showing true potential gets hurt and then substation conspiracy comes up and you're just like, well, this is another thing I got to worry about.
Right.
Are we never going to be good because there's electric fields in the air?
Yeah, they're strutting down Electric Avenue right now. Ethan, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And Jared and I are friends with other Niner fans, and their opinions on Robert Saleh are very up in the air, which I don't understand. You know, I think for him to elevate talent that is non-existent, bringing in guys like Eric Kendricks in the wild card round and playing a pivotal role against stopping Saquon Barkley.
Wasn't that great?
You know, I mean, I didn't want to watch either of those teams win that game, but like just in terms of like Robert Saleh, that's the guy I wanted the Cardinals to hire. I think that is an elite defensive mind. Like what I'm trying to get at is we know people who think he's not worth his salt as a defensive coordinator. And Jared, if you want to jump in before, but my question is like overall, what is your opinion? How much are you going to miss him this coming season?
Real quick, I think these guys that you're talking about, Miles, are young. Right?
They are.
And I think that they are spoiled.
They've grown up with good Niner football.
They've grown up with a lot of really good Niner football, and I don't think that they've ever had to experience bad Niner football. They may have felt some of those heartbreaking losses late in the season.
Yeah.
But they're watching the Niners late in the season.
Right.
And I was watching Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, a lot of guys. Yeah, a lot of these guys have never had that experience of, or even like of having to watch Chip Kelly coach the 49ers.
Yeah, post Jim Harbaugh, Chip Kelly. What's
Chip Kelly?
What was the other guy? Jim Tom Sula.
Yep. Yep. And then even you go back to the Mike Singletary days; those were brutal.
Yep. Brutal.
So for a couple of those guys, I think that maybe they don't have the experience of having to feel the hurt, and until you have to feel that, it's really easy to point fingers and talk poorly of a guy who essentially was one of the major reasons why we had as much success as we did this season, right? With all the injuries that we had. I think Robert Saleh is a great coach. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead, Ethan.
I mean, are we not going to forget that Bill Belichick walked into the Jets for about 3 minutes and said, "I can't do it"?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are we just like, because the Jets is the Jets. They're not that because of their coaching staff, their GM, their players. It's because of the people, the very top running that organization. I think Robert Saleh has the chance to become a better DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, I think it's the front office. It is the ownership. I mean, all of that goes into play, and Miles and I talk about this constantly. This is one of the biggest points that we make on this show on a regular basis, is that terrible organizations are always going to fail because of bad ownership, because of bad front office. There are organizational things that are wrong there.
Right.
You know what I mean? You see teams like the Commanders now, who were bad for a long time, struggled for a long time, and finally started to have some success after the team was sold.
Yeah.
And until teams like the Browns get sold, until teams like the Cardinals get sold, until teams like the Jets get sold, it's not going to happen for them. They're not going to have that same success. So
you're going to have to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I agree. And also, winning a Super Bowl is so hard. You have to, everything has to click.
Yeah, this is a hard league, man. And for some of these teams, it may never happen, because I know, at least for the Cardinals, this is a Bidwell heritage organization where, and I know Michael Bidwell doesn't have any kids. Is there a nephew he would pass it on to? You know, just like so long as it stays in that family, unless there's somebody inheriting it who is like, yeah, Michael, you were a dumbass. I'm actually going to do this right. You know, you can't help but think that selling to an outside hire is the best thing because, like you said, with Dan Snyder in Washington, obviously terrible person doing terrible things, but the football aspect was egregious. And then they bring somebody else in. They're getting a new stadium.
All of those terrible things, all those things going on in the background, find their way onto the field.
They bleed. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, yes. They bleed into the organization.
You're creating a toxic, negative culture that bleeds into the field.
Yeah, 100%. So
I do think a bigger part of it is just greed. Like, think about Cleveland Browns fans.
Not being willing to shell out the money.
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns fans pack that stadium every single Sunday, and like win or lose. Tennessee Titans realized they had a problem because nobody was showing up to their stadium. We're like, all right, we got a tank for a year, but you know we're gonna get a coach that aligns with what we want to do. All this stuff, like they're doing all the right things.
But then you see the Browns
just like
shell out money, and they shell out money for players like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Yep. And you got coaches walking out. On those interviews,
you could tell they were like, we could just pay to keep one attraction on the field right now at a time, and that was Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that is such an unserious organization. It is embarrassing that they're even an NFL team.
And I think
we need soccer regulation and deregulation. whole shtick, dude. I'm telling you. Can we get a USFL team to take the Cleveland Browns' place?
That's what I'm saying. Just send them on down to the USFL. You get last place, you go down to the USFL.
Yeah. You know, I think another organization that doesn't get enough flack for ownership is the Bengals. And I'm spacing.
We
the
give
last
them
name.
a lot of flack.
We give them a lot of shit.
Right.
I believe it's a Spanos family, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't the players have to cross the highway to get to their practice field?
All that, like, ownership is cheap. There's
when you're in the division with the Browns, though,
yeah,
it's really easy to take a lot of that off of your plate. I think.
And I mean, this goes back to like catching lightning in a bottle. And I wouldn't say like Joe Burrow was like, obviously that was the sure pick at the time,
talent.
But he is elevating and like sweeping some of these issues under the rug because he is just so elite and he got you to a Super Bowl and has made the playoffs.
And you see the dramatic difference when he's on the field and when he's off the field. Like it's not even, you know, some teams can keep their head at 500 with a backup quarterback. The Browns absolutely cannot.
Not with Zach Taylor as the coach. And I think he should have been fired. And, you know, and you see all these issues with the front office, like Trey Hendrickson, that deal was a disaster.
Right.
Trying to trade him was a disaster. They draft Shamar Stewart, couldn't even get a deal done.
Trey Hendrickson is the biggest free agent this season because they could not get a deal done with Trey Hendrickson either, or trade him.
They retained T. Higgins, which T. Higgins is a great player. He deserves that contract.
Right.
But
if you're over Jamar Chase, like, you need to pay other people. Take Jamar Chase and get rid of T. Higgins.
Yes, you need to allocate that money to the defensive side of the ball, which is
the offensive line.
Or the offensive line.
Oh my God!
Because Joe Burrow
T. Higgins over an offensive line is crazy.
Yep.
Joe Burrow could be the next Andrew Luck. You know, retire early.
It's just such a shame. And the thing that they are not realizing is that if you can't keep your head above water without him, you will never win with him.
You are screwed.
Yeah, they will never win with him.
Yeah. Sorry, I love shitting on the Bengals, not because I hate them, but because
we love Joe Burrow.
Bad ownership really riles me up.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, Ethan, you got anything else?
Bill Belichick not getting first ballot, I think, is insane.
Oh, listen to the pod, buddy.
Yeah, we talk about that.
Listen to the pod. We went through a whole thing. If not Bill, then who?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I got nothing else. I mean, my biggest mindset was like, Substation is total garbage. That's all I really.
Yeah, there's a bigger issue there, and I'm interested to see what reports come out this offseason, because I know that the Niners are trying to put some effort towards digging into these injuries. They want to know why too, right? Like these are things that are preventing them from winning the Super Bowl. If we don't have these injuries this season, we are a much more significant contender.
Yes.
Right. We might win that division. We might have the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Without those injuries.
You guys still had that in the palm of your hand with
Mhm.
all the injuries.
Right.
I mean,
I even think just having Ricky at 100% would have gotten us way farther. I'm gonna be
Right.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But who do you want the Niners to draft? Who do you want? Do you got anybody in mind? I was thinking
Where are
we
they
need
gonna-
more offensive linemen.
Where are they going to pick at? Like 28?
28, yeah.
Yeah, around there. I think they have to go offensive line. I think that if their defense is healthy, I think that it's pretty tough. And I think that those corners can be developed. I like Mustafa.
Upton
I think
Stout is a dog, dude.
Yeah,
Upton
absolutely.
Stout.
The defensive side of the ball is solid if they're healthy, and that's the biggest struggle for them. On the offensive side of the ball, I think there needs to be some effort put into the offensive line. I think that there is a need to draft a Christian McCaffrey replacement. I do not think that it's a first round.
I thought Cam was going to be it, dude. I thought Cam was going to be it.
Thank God he wasn't. Oh my God, if Cam Scatterbu went to the Niners, that would. But yeah,
Cam was gonna
he would have torn his Achilles much earlier.
Yeah,
he would have break his leg.
Yeah,
he would have torn his Achilles. He wouldn't have broken his leg.
Yeah, man. But
it would have been an ACL, some kind of soft tissue, something.
I think offensive line makes the most sense. You gotta prepare for a world without
Trent
Williams.
And we hit on Pooney.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and not only preparing for post Trent, but think about the amount of pressures that Brock Purdy was taking in the pocket and evading throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Right. Even Mac
he
Jones
held the
as
ball
well.
the longest.
Right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So
offensive line, yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
If you're going to play in a Kyle Shanahan system, you have to allow the play to develop. And for you to be able to do that, you have to have time in the pocket. So
you got to protect them.
Yeah, and even just getting Christian 1 extra yard would be probably a difference maker.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, if that is
fun.
yeah, always fun to have you on. Like we said, 3rd-time caller, 24th time listener.
3rd-time caller. Yes.
Yeah, we appreciate all your support, my guy.
Dude,
and
you guys are doing great.
Thank you, man. Thank you for making the time.
Of course, brother. Anytime.
All right. Take care, Ethan.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Peace. Good man right there.
Yeah, man. I always appreciate his perspective that he brings to the 2-point perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, check out the YouTube, check out the Spotify. Go ahead and comment on our posts. Again, Miles and I talked about it again this week. Eventually, we'd like to get a call-in line for the live. So as you guys are on the live, then you can call a number and we'll take your calls here on the show. So
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and we will see you next week.